What if the past you thought you buried comes roaring back, stronger and more dangerous than ever? That's exactly the feeling the Landman Season 2 trailer gives us. The energy is raw, the stakes are higher, and every frame seems to promise more conflict, betrayal, and ambition. Before we dive into the new trailer, let's take a step back and remember how Season 1 left us on the edge of our seats. Because to understand the intensity of this first look, we have to rewind to the battles, choices, and sacrifices that shaped everything leading into this new chapter. Season 1 of Landman was more than just a drama about the oil. The Strait was a story about power, survival, and the cost of chasing ambition. At its core, the show pulled us deep into the world of oil and energy, but it wasn't just about drilling wells or cutting deals. It was about people, families trying to hold on, workers risking everything in dangerous fields, and executives playing games in high-rise offices where fortunes were made and destroyed overnight. We watched as characters wrestled with more than just business rivalries. They were forced to make personal sacrifices, torn between loyalty to their loved ones and the never-ending hunger for power. The oil boom was painted as both a blessing and a curse, giving some characters unimaginable wealth while driving others into destruction. This clash of dreams and disasters was the heartbeat of Season 1. Josh Brolin's character stood at the center of it all. He wasn't just another man in the business, he was a symbol of the old guard trying to survive in a world that was rapidly changing. His choices carried the weight of tradition, but also the burden of loss. We saw him caught between protecting his family and keeping up with the brutal pace of the oil industry, where one wrong move could end a career, or worse, a life. His presence gave the series a sense of grit, because every time he stepped into a room, you could feel the tension rise. Season 1 also did an incredible job showing us how far-reaching the world of oil really is. It wasn't only about money, it was about politics, power, and control. We saw deals struck in the shadows, alliances built on shaky ground, and betrayals that cut deeper than any physical wound. Characters we thought we could trust revealed darker sides, and people who seemed powerless at first proved they had sharp weapons of their own. Every episode left us wondering who's really pulling the strings and who's just a pawn in the larger game. But the strength of Landman wasn't only in the boardroom or the oil fields. It was in the homes of these characters, in the small moments of heartbreak and love. Family dinners turned into war zones. Friendships turned into rivalries. And behind every business deal was a personal cost. The show constantly reminded us that success in this world doesn't come free. It's paid for with sleepless nights, broken relationships, and sacrifices that can never be undone. The ending of Season 1 made sure we couldn't walk away without burning questions. Loose ends were left dangling, hinting at betrayals still to come and secrets yet to be revealed. Characters were pushed to their breaking points, and as the credits rolled, fans were left with one thought: this story is far from over. That tension, that unfinished business, is what gives the new trailer for Season 2 its explosive weight. Because when we see these characters again, we're not just catching up. We're stepping back into a storm that's already raging, and the real battles are only just beginning. Asterisk, the very first seconds of the Landman Season 2 trailer set the tone for everything that follows. It doesn't waste time with soft introductions. It throws us directly into the world we know is unforgiving, harsh, and unpredictable. The opening shot lingers on the oil fields, wide and endless, but instead of showing promise, they feel heavy. With tension, the skies above are darker, filled with storm clouds. And that single choice in imagery tells us what's coming. This is not a season of calm. It's a season of conflict. From there, the trailer wastes no time in reminding us of the weight each character carries. Quick flashes show us returning faces, hardened, wearier, but still determined. Every look they give feels like a silent message, a warning that the challenges they faced before were only the beginning. Josh Brolin's character in particular commands attention. And the way the camera frames him in those opening beats tells us his fight isn't over. His eyes reveal a man who's seen too much but refuses to back down. It's as if the land itself is testing him again, daring him to hold on when everyone else might let go. The pacing of the trailer is sharp and relentless. Each cut is faster than the last, building a rhythm that feels like a heartbeat racing. Under pressure, we see boardrooms where deals are made, but the atmosphere is suffocating. The lighting is colder, the words exchanged sharper, hinting that alliances this season are even more fragile. If Season 1 gave us a sense of unease, this trailer makes that unease impossible to ignore. Every frame screams that the stakes are higher and the consequences heavier. Visually, the contrast is striking. The camera gives us sweeping shots of the oil fields and gritty close-ups of the people fighting to control them. The wide angles remind us of the scale. The land is vast, the wealth is massive, and the industry touches everything. But the close-ups remind us that behind every deal and every drilling rig, there's a human face. And those faces show fear, anger, and desperation. The trailer makes it clear. This season isn't just about the oil. It's about the emotional cost of fighting for it. One detail worth noting is the atmosphere the trailer builds through sound. The background score isn't loud or heroic, it's haunting. The beats are low, the music feels heavy, and every pause between lines of dialogue creates a sense of dread. Instead of promising glory, it warns us of downfall. Even the silences in the trailer feel loaded, like secrets waiting to explode. That subtle use of sound design makes every line of dialogue stand out even more. And then, there are the new faces. The trailer doesn't stop to introduce them, but it doesn't need to. Just a few seconds are enough to suggest they'll play major roles in the unfolding drama. A sharp look from a stranger across the table, a hand tightening over a contract, or a quick shot of a new worker stepping into the oil field. These flashes are all the audience needs to know that fresh players are entering the game. They're not here to observe. They're here to shift the balance of power. But it's not only about who's new, it's about how the familiar characters have changed. The trailer shows us subtle signs of growth, or perhaps decay. Characters who once stood confidently now seem shaken, as if haunted by choices they made last season. Others look stronger, more determined, as though their struggles have forged them into something sharper, more dangerous. These tiny glimpses build curiosity, because we know that everyone has been changed by the fallout of Season 1, and Season 2 is going to test just how far they're willing to go. The intensity peaks when the trailer starts. Overlapping images of conflict. We see oil rigs exploding with fire, meetings ending in shouting, and families crumbling under the weight of secrets. There are flashes of arguments, betrayals, and perhaps even violence. But the trailer is careful not to reveal too much. It teases just enough to make us lean forward, desperate to know how these moments connect. That's the brilliance of its design. It doesn't tell us the story outright, but it gives us fragments, puzzle pieces that fans can't help but try to put together. The trailer ends its first impression on a chilling note. A single line of dialogue, delivered with quiet intensity, cuts through the chaos. It's the kind of line that doesn't just summarize the season, but sets the stage. For everything to come, the camera lingers, the music fades, and we're left with silence heavy enough to make anyone shiver. That silence is a promise. Whatever we thought we knew about Landman, Season 2 is about to push it further, darker, and deeper. This first look does exactly what it's meant to. It grips the audience, pulls them back into the world of oil and ambition, and leaves them hungry for more. It's not just a reminder of why Landman captured so many fans in its first season. It's a warning that the next chapter is going to demand more from every character. And from every viewer watching along, the heart of any trailer isn't just the visuals, it's the hints, the unspoken promises about what's to come. Landman. Season 2 doesn't hand us its story on a silver platter. Instead, it scatters clues like breadcrumbs, daring us to piece them together. And the deeper you look, the clearer it becomes. This season is going to dig into themes of loyalty, betrayal, survival in ways that push every character to their breaking point. One of the most striking hints in the trailer is the recurring imagery of fire and destruction. Oil fields are shown not as symbols of prosperity, but as battlegrounds where fortunes rise and collapse in seconds. There's a moment of brief flash where flames engulf a rig, and the workers scramble in. Panic. This isn't just spectacle. It's a visual metaphor for what's happening at every level of the story. Everything these characters have built relationships, careers, legacies could go up in flames at any moment. That single image sets the stage for a season where nothing is stable and every victory comes at a cost. The dialogue snippets in. The trailer also add fuel to the fire. We hear voices warning of betrayal, whispers about enemies closer than you think, and lines that carry double meanings. One line in particular delivered with cold precisions, that alliances will shift in ways no one expects. It's the kind of foreshadowing that tells us we're heading into a season of fractured trust. Friends may become enemies, and enemies may suddenly turn into uneasy partners. It's constant reshuffling of loyalty is what keeps the audience hooked, because no relationship feels safe. Family drama is also heavily hinted at in the trailer. Season 1 showed us that behind every business decision there was a personal consequence. Season 2 looks ready to push that even further. A quiet scene in the trailer shows a heated argument at what should have been a calm family dinner. The camera doesn't linger long, but it's enough to remind us that these characters carry their battles home with them. Children, spouses, and parents are dragged into the chaos of the oil wars, and those personal stakes often hit harder than anything happening in the field or boardroom. The trailer makes it clear. The biggest fights this season might not happen in offices. They'll happen at kitchen tables. Another thread woven into the trailer is the theme of ambition spiraling out of control. Several quick shots reveal characters reaching higher than ever before, but the desperation in their eyes tells us they know the risks. There's a moment where one character signs a contract under dim light, his hand shaking ever so slightly. Another scene shows someone storming out of a meeting, papers scattering across the floor. These glimpses are small, but they scream of ambition colliding with reality. This season, the pursuit of power won't just cost money, it may cost lives, reputations, and futures. What makes the trailer even more intriguing is how it hints at external threats. Season 1 focused heavily on the immediate battles within the oil industry and the families tied to it. Season 2 seems ready to expand the battlefield. There are flashes of political figures, news headlines, and protests, suggesting that the oil empire is under pressure not just from within, but from the outside world as well. This widens the scope of the story. It's not only about who controls the rigs and the land. It's about how the choices of a few can impact entire communities, cities, and maybe even nations. That's a huge escalation, and it promises that. The drama this season will be bigger than ever. Romantic entanglements also appear to take center stage. One scene in the trailer shows two characters exchanging a glance that lasts just a beat too long, hinting at forbidden love or a dangerous secret. Another shot reveals a heated embrace in the shadows, cut off abruptly by the sound of footsteps approaching. These moments suggest that love will once again clash with loyalty and ambition. In Landman, romance is never simple. It's tangled in power plays, betrayals, and sacrifices. And judging by the trailer, Season 2 is going to use those entanglements to turn up the heat even more. The trailer also teases a storyline about legacy. There are several quick shots of older characters looking weary, contrasted with younger faces filled with ambition. This visual contrast suggests a battle between generations. The older guard, who built their empires brick by brick, may find themselves clashing with a new wave of players hungry for control. Will tradition hold, or will it crumble under the weight of progress and greed? That tension between past and future is set to be one of the season's driving forces. And finally, the trailer ends with a cryptic line that seems to tie all these threads together. Everything has a price. The question is, are you willing to pay it? It's not just a line, it's the heartbeat of the season. Every storyline hinted at in the trailer, betrayal, ambition, romance, family, power, comes back to that single question. What will these characters sacrifice for the empire they're building? Will it be their integrity, their family, their freedom, or even their lives? By carefully weaving together visuals of destruction, whispers of betrayal, and glimpses of personal struggle. The trailer doesn't just tease storylines, it makes a promise. Landman Season 2 is going to push its characters to make impossible choices. It's going to force viewers to ask themselves what they would do in the same situation. That's the beauty of the hints it drops. They don't just reveal what's next, they make us imagine it for ourselves. Asterisk, the most exciting part of any new season is seeing how the characters we've come to know will evolve. And Landman Season 2 wastes no time in hinting that these arcs are going to be bigger, bolder, and more dangerous than ever before. The trailer doesn't just show us familiar faces, it shows us how they've changed. Some look stronger, hardened by the chaos of last season, while others appear haunted, carrying the weight of choices that can't be undone. And then, just when we start to feel like we know where everyone stands, the trailer drops new players into the mixed characters. Who could completely rewrite the rules of the game? Let's start with Josh Brolin's character, the figure who feels like the anchor of this story. In Season 1, he was torn between his family and the brutal demands of the oil industry. He fought to balance personal loyalty with professional survival, and that conflict gave his story so much power. But the trailer for Season 2 shows us a different man. He looks older, more worn, as though the battles of Season 1 left scars we can't see. His silence in key moments of the trailer is definite, tells us that he's thinking harder, moving more carefully, but still preparing to fight. His arc this season seems to be about endurance, about proving that no matter how high the pressure climbs, he will not be pushed out of the game. The question is, what will he have to sacrifice this time to stay in it? Then there are the secondary characters who stood out last season, each now facing their own crossroads. The trailer hints that some who were once allies might be stepping into the role of rivals. A former friend of Brolin's character is seen staring him down across a table, the silence between them sharper than any blade. It's clear that this season will blur the lines between ally and enemy. Loyalty will be tested, and those who once stood side by side may find themselves tearing each other apart. Family members. The two are set to undergo transformations. A younger character, possibly a son or daughter, appears in the trailer with a determined look, stepping into spaces they once seemed too fragile to handle. Their arc seems to be about stepping out of the shadows, proving themselves in a world that chews up anyone who isn't ready. But ambition often comes with a cost, and their storyline may show us how innocence is lost when power becomes the ultimate goal. In contrast, older family figures look weary, as though their time is running out. The generational clash is building, and this season could easily turn into a battle between tradition and the hungry ambition of a younger generation. Romantic arcs are also teased, though in true Landman fashion, nothing looks straightforward. In one scene, a character is shown embracing someone in secret, the shadows almost swallowing them whole. That single shot screams of forbidden love, of a relationship that could spark chaos if revealed. Another moment shows a marriage crumbling. At the dinner table, words sharp enough to cut deeper than any betrayal in business. These arcs remind us that, in this world, love isn't safe, it's dangerous. It's a weapon, a weakness, and sometimes, both at once. But perhaps the most intriguing aspect of the trailer is the new cast members. The trailer doesn't pause to introduce them directly, but the glimpses we get suggest they're going to play pivotal roles. One new character, shown in a sleek suit with a stare that could cut glass, seems poised to enter the story as a power broker. Their quiet confidence and controlled presence hint at someone who doesn't need to shout to command. Attention. Another new face appears in the oil fields, a worker whose determination and grit stand out even in just a few seconds of screen time. This suggests that Season 2 won't only expand upward into politics and power, it will also dig downward. Into the lives of everyday workers caught in the middle of this storm. There's also a brief, but powerful moment where a new political figure appears in front of cameras, addressing reporters with a sharp warning about the oil industry. That scene alone hints that Season 2 won't just be about private battles. Behind closed doors, it will spill out into the public, into politics, and into the media. Whoever this new character is, their presence changes the game. They're not here to play by the same rules. They're here to challenge the very system itself. What's so fascinating about these new additions is how they mirror the themes of Landman itself. Every new face brings new ambition, new danger, and new secrets. And because the trailer keeps their backstories hidden, we're left guessing. Are they allies, enemies, or something in between? That uncertainty makes them some of the most exciting pieces on the board because they could tip the balance in unexpected ways altogether. The arcs hinted at in the trailer paint a picture of a season where no one remains the same. Every character is evolving, whether they like it or not. Some are stepping up, others are breaking down. And the newcomers are ready to tear apart whatever fragile balance existed before. This isn't just about oil or business anymore. It's about survival in a world where power is always shifting. And for fans, that means one thing. Season 2 isn't just a continuation of the story we loved in Season 1. It's a reinvention, a transformation, a chance to see every character pushed into uncharted territory.